Welcome to my domain. I want to talk about something very special. See, the NFL season is upon us. And as you can see, Tom Brady on the cover. Anyways, we will see what the algorithms have to say about this. I want to talk about something that almost no one talks about. See, I was a huge football fan, huge sports fan, die-hard sports fan. Bills, Celtics, Red Sox, die-hard. Okay, die-hard. Bruins. Okay, now, I used to go to Buffalo every single year. I used to drive to the stadium. Yeah, so I'd drive to the games. And I'd pay lots of money, and I'd go and buy my ticket. And then all of a sudden I realized, for entertainment purposes only. Read the back. Small print. For entertainment purposes only. So that got me thinking. And then of course, the Bills are not the winningest team. And they are also a low market team. You know, think about all these teams in the history of their winnings and losings. The Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, the Buffalo Bills, the San Diego Chargers. See, in the back of the ticket, it says for entertainment purposes only. For entertainment purposes only? What does that even mean? For entertainment purposes only? What? That's just in case you figure it out and sue them. They're covered. You can't sue them because it's for entertainment purposes only. Just like WWF. The #1 algorithm. I looked at the question. Is Tom Brady the best of all time? Now it started me thinking, and of course as a Bills fan I'm going to be biased, okay? I'm a Bills fan. Now I like Tom Brady personally as far as a guy, he's a good guy, whatever, but you can't hate the guy, you know? But as you dig deeper and you start seeing the truth, this question arose, is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time? Now, we can sit here, in the past I'd break down the pros and cons and argue with my buddies, and yeah, he can pass, and he's got receivers, and he's got a line, and he doesn't have a line. But in football, the difference between winning and losing is an inch. And as we all know, one pass interference call, one rigged play, game's a different game. I was watching over the years, and the more you pay attention and look for it, the more you see it. And it's not like the game is rigged, because the players play, but it's manipulated. Now, a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy. A lot of people think I'm a bitter Bills fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a bitter Bills fan. I can't take it anymore. So, there's a lot of facts that back up my case. For example, there's a book. The Fix is In. Now, Brian Toohey I really recommend this. I don't make any money off this book. I don't know this guy. I do now because I read his books, but let me explain something to you. This guy knows what he's talking about. That's just one. Now, he's written a few books. One concerning the FBI and sports gambling, game fixing, and that aspect of it. Okay? And then he's done, he followed a season. He followed a whole football season. And don't trust the N.F.L. type thing. You know what I'm saying? If you read up a little bit on this, you can see that this is not that far-fetched. I'm just saying, interesting. Look in the history. Look in the history of the NFL. What teams have won the NFL? Look at these calls. Phantom pass interference call. Bills fans are used to those calls. The players play. Let me get this straight. The players really want to win. The players really play. The players are very talented, and the margin of error is very slim. So the bottom line, it comes down to a few calls, a few games, in order to manipulate certain outcomes. Now, you got to remember, football is a business. Now, it's all about the money and the bottom line. And you got to remember, if you sell a Brady's jersey, the Vikings, the Bills, the Broncos, they all make money off that jersey. They split the profit. It's all sharing. So you got to understand, it's not just one thing or another. It's plenty of things. The N.F.L. does not pay taxes. They clear over $10 billion a year. Can you imagine? The NFL is only going to listen to the algorithms that tell you what's popular and what's not. And even then, you got to wonder yourself, why the Vikings, why the Bills, why the Lions, why these teams never get success. If you look in the history, you can see certain key plays, certain key moments, certain key things that happen to change the outcome of a game, hence a season / anything. Especially in, this is not just football. I am just focusing on football for this particular story, but there are plenty of cases. NBA referee going to jail, admitting games have been fixed. Italian League Soccer, over 2,000 games fixed. So don't be surprised if it gets manipulated towards one way or the other. And of course, my Buffalo Bills. Year after year, I'm thinking, we have the talent, we have the players, we have this, we have that. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Even if the Bills came up with the algorithms to be the most popular team, they probably wouldn't let them win the Super Bowl. Maybe get to the Super Bowl. Look who they lost to in the Super Bowls. The Giants, high market. Redskins, high market. Cowboys, high market. Buffalo, low market. It took me a while to accept. It's really devastating to a sports fan, and it's really hard to take in. But if you learn to accept it and you start looking for it, you'll find it everywhere. This is what I've seen. Every week there's two teams that are not supposed to win that win. And every week there's two teams that are supposed to win that don't. So the spread, this, that, NFL bookies, and there's no way you can't tell me that there's no manipulation going on from the high end. How come replays are limited in the last 2 minutes? How come replays are limited to their decisions? At the end of the day, it's about getting the right call. A lot of times they end the games knowing that there was the wrong call and they don't do anything about it. They have offices in New York now with screens with every single game, with every single this and that. They got to get it right. But they have it right to their advantage. And they have, what's a catch now? I don't know what a catch is anymore. What's a catch nowadays? See, before a catch was you have the ball, as long as the ball doesn't touch the ground. Doesn't matter how it bobbles, mobbles, what it's on, as the ball is in your possession. That's a catch. Now, it was this, it was that. Yeah, as much as I'd like to argue is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback? Is he? Well, how can you argue that if you know it's manipulated? I can read you schedules. I can break down stats. But at the end of the day, the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs are a handful of calls. And those calls are in the hands of the referees. Anyways, we'll be talking about hockey and basketball and the NBA and also other sports as the seasons begin. But I just wanted to break through because the preseason is beginning. The football season is on its way. And I'm pretty excited about football season. I always try to call it beating the refs every game. Or I shouldn't say every game. I'd say as a Bills fan, there's probably 4 key games every season that we're supposed to win. And there's a call or two that is very questionable. And last couple of seasons, there's been some really sketchy calls that goes towards my argument I'm not talking as a bitter Bills fan. I have come to the reality of what the reality is, and I watch the sport as a football fan, as a Bills fan. I just it's not the emotion is not as high, knowing that they don't have full control of the outcome of the game, and they have to probably blow out their team in order to beat the refs, as I call it. Beating the refs is not easy. As a matter of fact, you could probably beat the refs once out of 4 or 5 games. So if you're in the playoffs and you make it the first round, you might be able to beat them for one round, and it's not easy. Football is a tough sport. I mean, these professional sports, soccer, basketball, baseball, hockey, it's a tough sport. I really like to know your opinion on this. I want to hear comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to see the debate begin. I'm excited for the season to start. So, go Bills. Alright, shut this down. Most of this stuff you can actually look up for yourself and start doing some scratching.